keeping in mind you had one good game, one bad game, where do you see things compared to a week ago? How do you feel about the team right now?
I feel pretty much the same. You know, we need to find a consistent level. I don't think we've had it yet. I think both games at Huntsville were just okay. I think one game against UConn was really good on Friday, and the game on Saturday at times was good, but at times wasn't very good. There's a couple of reasons for that. The opponent, obviously, in all the cases, has the pushback is different. You know, I'm concerned about the inconsistency. Everyone I've talked to, the people that I talk to, well, that's a sign of a young team and so on and so forth, but we're not going to use that. We're not going to talk about that. Lake Superior was a young team. And they were inconsistent too. I mean, Friday night to Saturday night, they were a different team, but it's our job as a program and as a coaching staff and for me to find a way to be consistent. The only way we know is a consistent effort in practice. Today was a good practice. Now we have to answer it tomorrow. If we have any lapses of consistency this weekend, not in particular, but this weekend is what we have coming up, Notre Dame will expose that, obviously. So we feel we're in the same place. We're fighting to find that consistent level, but you know, we're positive about what's going on.
How do you go about solving the inconsistency problem?
You know, I just don't know. You know, if I had that answer, I would definitely sell it and make a bunch, but because I know we're not the only one. You know, I do know it's a characteristic of a young team, and a young team that doesn't have, you know, a leadership group that can just put their arms around it and say, this is where we're going to be, this is what we're going to do today. As much as we wanted to focus on Saturday as another opportunity to be great, another opportunity to take a step forward as a program, we weren't able to do that. I don't know why. Were we resting on what happened Friday? Were we satisfied with one win on the road, and it didn't matter what happened Saturday? I don't necessarily think so. I think our guys were hungry and they wanted to play well. They just didn't execute that. So we're still trying to figure that out. You know, I think it's a collective effort from the coaching staff to the players to find a level of consistency. When you're dealing with college kids, again, I know it's something everybody struggles with, whether it's on this campus or others. Getting these kids to bring that same focus every single day is not easy. When you play in games, there's feedback that, you know, why were you this way Friday and this way Saturday? I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. But we're looking and we're searching and we're talking about it because it's something that is getting in the way right now from us taking that step.
What do you like about Notre Dame's game?
You know, there's, I could go on the whole time about what I like. There's size, there's compete, there's talent, there's depth. The overall thing I like, truly, is their belief. They believe they're a top team in the country, if not the top team, and that's something you can't teach. It's something I know they've pushed towards, and I feel they're there. You know, the young team they had last year is now a veteran team. They're not necessarily veteran in years, but when you go to a Frozen Four, you learn a lot about yourselves, and they didn't lose a whole lot. Not to say the seniors weren't a big part of last year's team, just saying they returned a lot of guys. But I think their belief is one of their major strengths. They believe they're going to win every game, and with their lineup, they should believe that. But that's something that's very difficult to teach, and we're fighting that fight. We're trying to teach our guys to believe in what we're doing here, and why shouldn't we believe? Why not us? I think it's a strength of Notre Dame, and it's something that you can measure the other things. It's easy to see what they are on paper, but that belief or that focus and to we're going to win every game is something that's very difficult to instill. It takes time. But this year's team, I believe, has it. Watching them on tape, I know they've lost a game or whatever, but this is as good of a team as we'll see all year.
Do they have any weaknesses?
You know, I don't think so. The easy thing would probably, people have said goaltending, but I guarantee that the coaches would say absolutely not. Both goaltenders are good, proven goaltenders. I really don't think they do. You know, we're gonna have to play a game and compete and execute at a real high level to give ourselves the best chance. No different than any other weekend, but you know, other teams have holes in their game that you can kind of focus on and take advantage of. Notre Dame doesn't. They defend extremely well. People used to say, "Oh, they sit back and there's not a whole lot of offense, or they're not allowed to play offense." That's crazy. Ask TJ Tynan that at 50 points as a freshman or something like that. So this is a team that we're going to have to be on. There's no doubt about it. I don't see a weakness on tape, and you know, they've been a program that I've had focus on for a long time. So I've watched them, and I just don't see a weakness that you can point out.
Chris, about that belief you were talking about that Notre Dame has, is that kind of a chicken or the egg kind of question? You have to have that belief to be successful, or you have to have success to have that
Absolutely.
belief? I mean,
absolutely it is. I think that's a great way to put it. We want our people to believe when they put on that Bowling Green jersey, they're putting it on to win that night. You can argue with people at all levels. When the Red Wings put their jerseys on in Detroit, they just assume they're going to win. Assume is a bad word, but that's just, we're going to win tonight because we're the Detroit Red Wings. I think Notre Dame has that belief, and I've had some personal experience with that as a coach, not as a head coach, but as an assistant coach, of watching that belief develop. And people have asked me, at what point did you know you had it? I'm sure I still don't know. It just, you know, it almost, the day we thought about it, 10 years later, we're like, well, we have it now. You know, we put our jersey on, we feel we're going to win tonight just because this is the jersey we're wearing. It's a constant, everyday focus of believe in what we're doing. Why not? What that we're doing is different than they're doing. There's nothing. These are guys that have played in the same league. These are guys that have played growing up together from the same areas of the world, so on and so forth. Why not, when we put our jersey on, don't we believe? And I'm not saying we don't. I'm saying we're a work in progress that way. They are more established at that. And I think their belief is at a different level than most. There's a kind of a middle ground belief level where, you know, I think we're going to win. They have a belief that they know they're going to win, whether that's the case or not. You know, I don't know what it's going to take. It's almost, as you said, it's the catch-22. You need this to get that, but you need that to get this. And we're trying to establish our belief through winning games and positive things happening. It was very difficult to establish that last year when we won 3 league games and 10 overall, and most of the feedback was negative. There's no doubt about it. We can't put our finger on it. We hope this start that we've had has developed some belief and some expectations in what we're doing every single day. But we still have a ways to go with that. There's no doubt about it.
Do you verbalize that with the players?
All the time.
Yeah.
It's part of a key point to every game is believe in what we're doing. We have to have belief and confidence in what we're doing. And it's something that, from an individual basis, we talk about it to individuals because there's young guys that aren't in the lineup. And they say, Coach, how am I supposed to be confident when you're not confident in me because you're putting me in the stands? I understand that. But to be a Division I athlete, you're going to have to find a way. Because if you're not confident, you're not going to play good enough, you're not going to get in the lineup. You have to find a way to be confident. We have to find a way to be confident in what we're doing as a program on a daily basis. Even if the last time we played the game, last Saturday night, we weren't very confident, we weren't very good, and the feedback was negative. They felt bad, we were frustrated, so on and so forth. We have to find a way, and that's something that, you know, man, I wish, and I'm not, again, this is something that people struggle with all the time. How do you be confident in a not confident situation? I don't know. Well, we're going to keep pushing it, and we're going to keep talking about it like we have every day, and that's the only way I know how to do it. Because it'll pay off. And the other thing for us, now this is more big picture, but recruiting. We're going to recruit kids that have a certain belief about themselves, and they're not going to stand for losing. And they're gonna do whatever they need to do individually, not to be part of a loser. That starts to become, it starts to spread and starts to become habit. And then you start to get the results because you don't settle for anything less, all through expectations, which is the word we've used since the day we got the job here, is the expectations have to change. We need to start expecting better things to happen on a daily basis. That's a process. So all we know how to do is just continue to remind each other, believe in what we're doing. If you don't know in your heart what's going on, ask, and we'll get through it together. But we need to believe that what we're doing is good enough to get us the results we want.
Do you feel this year's team, because you're bigger and stronger, is in a better position to match up better with Notre Dame? Maybe
Well, last year, I thought last year we played them hard. I just
Right.
didn't think we matched up very well against them. Yes, I think because we're bigger and stronger, we match up better against anybody. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Any injuries this week besides Rodriguez and Galley?
No. I mean, Hammy hasn't practiced yesterday or today, but he's going to practice tomorrow. It's just more of a rest thing, just making sure he's 100%. He's going to be our workhorse, so it's going to be, we're going to have to stay on top of that and make sure he doesn't see too many pucks, because he saw us a bunch on Saturday, and that's obviously, Friday was okay, but Saturday he just faced too many, so we'll give him some rest. But other than that, I think we're pretty good.
How many days do you anticipate him practicing?
Oh, I anticipate him practicing most days. We're going to check in with him, more than occasionally to find out how he's doing and how he feels, and because I don't want him to get tired mentally either. Obviously, the mental stress on the thing is just as much for him because of the pressure he puts on himself. So I expect him to practice every day. It's just this week it's been a couple long road trips back to back. He had to face and stop a bunch of shots on Saturday in particular. So we thought we'll give you a couple days off.
The penalty killing has improved over last year. You feel like it's headed in the right direction?
I think it's headed in the right direction, Kevin, but again, there's still too many lapses in what we're doing. And when I say that, I mean in the fundamental things we want to do, we're not doing them enough. We don't block enough shots. We don't stop and start well enough. We still loop too much. I think we're getting there, but the way we want to be is 90%, and we're obviously not at that. And until we get there, and even when we're there, it's going to be a constant push and focus to be better at it. But I think when we're not good at it, it's because we get away from the fundamental things that we're supposed to be good at and that we want to be good at. Getting back to our depth, I think we've got more guys that understand what's going on and that can be better penalty kills for us. So we're going to continue to use that as that's a reward, right? That's something that not everybody gets to penalty kill. So if you help us kill penalties, you'll be out there. If you're not helping us kill penalties, then you won't kill. And I think a lot of the guys want to. So I'm happy about that. We've got good competition to be out there, because that's something we just we want to be great at. You know that. Our special teams are something we want to be better at. But I still think it's something we need to continue to focus on, those small little details, to be the penalty killing team that we want to be.
You said 90% is the...
Yeah, that's the number we focus on. You kill 9 out of 10 penalties, you're doing something right. And I don't mean on one night basis, but that's the number. And we're not there. So, and I look at it, the nights that we've struggled on, it's just little things. It's stick position here, not blocking a shot, not clearing the puck when it's on our stick. That just, it's still happening too much.
What's your number for the power play?
Well, from last year to this year, we wanted to be 15% from 10%. That was one of those ones that we still want to be realistic too. We don't want to, we think 90% is realistic. I think 15% on our power play is realistic based on where we're coming from. We're still, trying to figure out who we are in the power play. But I think 20% is a fair number, once we get the personnel that we want to make our power play better. We're getting closer to that, but we still, most games to this point, we've looked on different pages on the power play. So we need to continue to work on it, and that's all we know how to do, so we'll do that.
What do Andersley and TJ Tyne bring to the table? What do you like?
I think the question is, what don't you like?
Exactly.
Anders Lee is a big guy who plays hard, who has skill. I mean, people are going to see him on TV one day. And TJ's been a kid who I've seen since a minor midget, and probably people have made, well, he's not this, and he's not that, and he's not this. And not so much anymore, because last year he proved it in college, but he's just such a dynamic guy and player, and he brings it every night. You know, very, very rarely do those two take nights off. And that started last year as freshmen. So they kind of come at you in different ways. You know, Anders Lee he'll skate right over you to get to the net if he has to, and he can go around you too. TJ's more of a guy that's going to just skate by people or skate around you, but they're both as effective and as confident in their games as they should be. But it's kind of a different approach with the two of them, just based on their size and their what they're really good at. But ultimately, they're both very, very effective and probably guys that are going to play professional at some level at some point.
And they still got Riley Sheehan, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out there, and he's a first-round pick to
Yeah.
to Detroit, so he'll be playing it.
Yeah.
He's just a big body. I mean, you can go down their lineup. There's size, there's talent, there's effort, there's compete. Their decor is extremely big. They look like an NHL decor. They're just a bunch of big guys, but they move the puck well, and they play in the power play. And it's just one of those weekends where, you know, it's a matchup that's deep, and we have to be ready to go.
Sounds good.